Hey guys, Lord Nick here bringing you another League of Legends related video. This video is going to be talking about something I call a variety composition. And the reason I'm giving it this name is it is kind of a better suited name for a well-balanced composition. For any of those that don't know what that might mean, I'm talking about team comps. Now, in the past, team comps used to be you have 5 synergistic champions that are looking to play the game in a very similar way, and you're going to play to that strength while preventing your weakness, which is whatever point in the game you're going to be weak in. Nowadays, that doesn't seem to be the case as much, as you probably want a more active jungler. Now, you can have a late game scaling jungler if you have very strong laning phase individuals on your team. For instance, like if you have some early game mid lane, early game top lane, and an early game bot lane, you're not going to want to go an early game jungler. That's putting all eggs in one basket, and right now, if anybody is able to outplay you, you're gonna, if they're able to outplay your early game or to survive through it and they have some type of late game plan themselves, you have a decent chance of losing. Now, if you have, say, 2 late game laners and then a early game jungler and then an early to mid game top laner, for instance, you actually have a really well-balanced composition right now, and the reason why is you want some people that are good at some points in the game and some people that are good in some other points of the game, and then you just have to shift how you play during that time. Also, you could pick somebody who's who's probably more of what is a mid-game, who has a very strong early game, not a great late game, but not a bad one either. And the way you kind of do that is shifting your build composition. You don't go all ham with it either. So there's a lot of potential for this variety composition, but what it ultimately does is it fills in those weaknesses so you don't have to play as well. So the biggest thing about the older style of compositions, where you either have an early game comp, a mid game comp, or a late game comp, meant that you put all your eggs in one basket, and it's really good for the pros because the pros know how to play this, and they can try to not make those mistakes that they'd have to make to lose with that composition. What a variety composition does for you is it gives you ways into certain aspects of the game. For instance, I can pick an early game jungler, and then I can, affect the early game for my team and set us up for the late game. Now, I'm not trying to win in the early game, but what I am trying to do is I'm trying to prevent us from losing in the early game. So that's what I'm doing. So instead of picking 5 early game champions who want to win in the early game, I'm picking an early game champion to say, I want to do well at this point in the game so that my team doesn't have to try as hard at this point. And you know what that means? It takes some pressure off of those carries for you. It takes some pressure off of that stuff. Now, if your team has a lot of early game pressure and they're putting a lot of effort into that early game, you as a jungler probably don't want to go a late game jungler unless you could go like Jax or Yi or something like that. Or if you're like an ADC, this gives you a lot more options to your ADC. Now, you could go into that early game basket and go Lucian, where you can try your hardest to do it. Or you could go into something like Jinx, Vayne, Caitlyn, and maybe even Jhin or something like that, and go for late game. And it gives your team a fallback point. So if case the rest of your team, they could do okay in the early game, but let's say they don't win the early game, they have you as a fallback point, and that takes some pressure off of them, and that means, okay, they just have to shift to playing around you. Now, that does require them to kind of focus on understanding what they need to do so. So it's always easier for you to pick something that's early game in comparison to their late game, because it means that you're not going to have to focus on them as much. But I hope this also kind of helps you understand the fact that there's a lot to go around with this idea of a variety composition. It shores up a lot of your weaknesses as a team, and it means you don't have to play as well as a team, because one person takes more stress during certain parts of the game. And if you were better at playing certain parts of the game, pick champions that are better at that part of the game and try to take control of that part of the game. And then relinquish control at other points in the game to allow your teammates to take some of the stress off of you, so that when you get to either get to it or are at your strong point, that's when you get to put all of your effort into carrying the game. And it takes some of that, responsibility from having to solo carry, and you don't have to fully rely on your teammates per se. But it allows you to use them as a kind of crutch point at points in the game to win off of them. And this is kind of a macro strategy, but it's a lot easier to understand, and it's a lot easier to implement. And so I really hope that this kind of helps you understand maybe a simple tool that would help you start climbing a little bit more. Now that being said, I'm not very good at. I hadn't been very good at implementing this, and this is something that just kind of occurred to me today while I was thinking of what I should do for a video because I hadn't made one in a while. And so I'm going to start trying to do this myself, and that being the case, I'm going to try to upload videos to give you updates on this idea here. Now, this isn't a new idea. Other people are doing this, and not many other people have really claimed what they call it. But it seems to me that this is really the style for the meta right now, and if you want to climb in solo queue, this is probably the best way for you to play. Now, it does require you to somewhat play around your team, but it does mean that you don't have to rely on your team. So it takes away a lot of the threats of trying to rely on your team to climb, and still, gives you, puts the ball of carrying in your court, but takes a lot of the stress of carrying out of it for you. So I hope this video helps you guys. Like always, if you guys like it, hit the like button down below. Leave a comment for anything that you found interesting about in this video or things that you want to see in the next videos. If you guys really want, you can follow my Twitch to find out and see how I do on a live amount, opposed to waiting for my next video to give you an update on what I'm doing. And if you ever want more advice on certain topics, just feel free to give me, ideas of what you want those topics to be about. Do you want me to focus on specific champion tutorials? Do you want me to focus on team compositions? Do you want me to focus on, other elements of the game that you want to learn about? And if that be the case, leave a comment down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful Sunday night and a wonderful rest of your week. And as always, good luck in solo queue and have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful day.